right, as always, that was Colin Gow with our officially licensed theme song podcast. Actually, special shout out to Colin because tonight I'm heading to a concert in Springfield, Ohio with him. So looking forward to getting into that. What is not normal today is for listeners of the podcast. You heard something very disturbing last week. We had to suspend Darren from the podcast for a week for being late to the podcast. He was like a full 15, 20 minutes late to the podcast. So we had to start without him, and he's serving a one-pod suspension this week. So in his place, we have the one, the only, Jackie Thiel is making a return appearance to the podcast.
Real Deal Thiel's back.
Real Deal Thiel
Once
is back.
again.
So thank you for coming in.
Maybe you should extend the suspension.
You know,
Maybe.
It is always something that we consider very deeply whenever Darren is out, and it is always very tempting. So we'll see. Progressive discipline. Yeah,
there we go.
We'll see how it goes. But we do have with us a guest today. We have a Arlington State Representative and a resident of our fine city, Representative Allison Russo. Allison, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Although I gotta say, I'm a little hurt, I think, today. Allison, before we got on, said she's never listened to the podcast.
You're going to call her out like
I know.
that?
I meant to do it before I came
as
here.
a representative of our city to not have.
I know. But I've heard that it's wonderful, and I see your pictures and posts sometimes. I just have not had the chance to listen.
Okay. So she doesn't know what's coming.
I have no idea what's coming. This will all be a surprise.
We do a little shtick every time where we present our guests with three things, and we took something from a sports podcast that I was listening to one time, where they did something called Start, Bench, Cut.
Okay.
And we're going to give you three things based on the questions that you answered for us. That was the full extent of the research that we did, was asking you those couple questions. And you're going to have to say, this one's the starter. I'm going to it all the time. It's like what I'm waking up with every day. The second one is something that you can pull out occasionally, and it's your thing that's on the bench. And the third one, you can never have again. You're cutting it forever. So you gave us two things to consider. One was 1990s alternative, and the other was subtitled dramas from Netflix. I did, for the record, for the listeners, and we'll get into this a little later, I did clarify, it is not subtitled things like Love is Blind,
That's
Brazil.
correct. That's correct.
But it is subtitled actual shows.
Yes.
But we'll get into that later. So it is very fortunate that we have with us today Jackie Thiel, because when one says 90s alternative in our office, I think probably heads immediately turn and go, Jackie?
I don't think so. But I did go through a grunge phase when I was in high school. So I was very happy to hear this. I was like, yes, I get to talk to somebody.
Good.
About this brief little grunge phase I went through.
I don't know if listen, did everybody listen to alternative in the 90s? I'm not sure we necessarily had to be grunge.
Yeah.
Or gothic.
Right. Yeah. I think it was just a little phase.
No, it's just good music.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to give her your start, bench, cut?
So I had to do some research because I didn't want to just pick the ones that were my favorite.
Okay.
But I tried to be broad enough that this should be hard. So
okay.
It's intended.
Wait. So what am I? I feel like I'm learning a new board game.
I'm going to give you songs and bands. I'm going to give you three of them.
Okay.
So you're going to say which one you would start that you want to listen to every single day.
Okay.
Which one you want to bench that you'll listen to occasionally. And then which one you'd never listen to it again.
You could never listen to it again.
Okay.
If you're on a desert island, think of
it.
This is kind of a version of the desert island question.
Got it. Okay.
So first, Oasis, Wonderwall. 2, Green Day, Basket Case.
Oh my God, these are hard.
And 3, The Smashing Pumpkins, 1979.
Oh my God, I have to bench one of these. I mean, I have
You
to.
have to start, bench, and cut one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
We need to figure out how to turn this into like a personal interview question.
Yeah.
We'll find out a lot
I think
about
so
people.
too. This would be really good. Oh, these are hard.
I know.
We asked the hard-hitting questions.
You are asking the hard.
Oasis Wonderwall is probably
A start. I think that's a
the
start.
world. I'm just saying, it's worldwide, been heard everywhere.
I think that's
all
a
the
start.
time.
I mean, who doesn't love that? Who? I mean, come on.
But maybe it's overheard. Maybe you never want to hear it again.
No. I think we're good with that one. Oh my gosh, Smashing Pumpkins or Green Day? Who do I want to throw away?
There's a right answer to this question.
I think Smashing Pumpkins, and Green Day is my bench.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Okay, we can continue.
Okay,
That's good.
Yeah.
I was like, if she,
But that's hard.
if
That's
she
really
benches
hard.
Green Day, I'm done.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
No. And the only reason I picked Wonderwall is because I mean, who can get that out of your head?
Right. Well, so this is the second podcast on which we've had a discussion about Wonderwall and God, why am I drawing a blank on the name of the band?
Smashing Pumpkins.
No, not Smashing Pumpkins. Wonderwall was sung by Oasis. Because do you know Kyle May? Does that name ring?
The name rings a bell.
He's a planner who did who led the work on Henderson Road. He is obsessed with
Oasis?
Oasis.
Huh.
Like
Interesting.
obsessed. But anyway.
Did you ever listen to Silverchair?
Maybe, yes.
I think that was maybe just a me thing, but I was
Yeah.
going to throw it on there. I'm like, no, let's
Okay,
not do that.
you're pulling that one out of the back pocket.
That's not.
That's the deep cut. So
Okay.
now I was going to try and put together a start bench cut of subtitled streaming shows.
Yeah, this was hard because I didn't give you a lot of specifics.
You didn't. I asked you what streaming service you use, and then I came to realize that most of the stuff that I watch with subtitles is actually British or Scottish.
Right, and you just have to turn
like
it on so you can hear
like
it.
Peaky Blinders.
Yes,
just
I
so
did
can
the
hear-
same thing, just so I can understand what they're
I was like,
saying.
oh, I'm sophisticated enough that I can put
Yes.
together a start bench cut on this.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I can have it. No, I looked at the
No.
list. I was like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that sophisticated.
Yeah.
We could talk.
I also watch the most random things.
yeah.
So this would be hard.
So what is the most like? Is it like you're watching random? Like, how did you get on this thing where you're like your guilty pleasures watching subtitled dramas
I
on
don't know.
Netflix?
I don't know. It drives my family crazy because I told you my Netflix algorithm is very well curated at this point. Like, people get into my account and what in the hell is this?
We didn't even know this was on Netflix.
Right. I don't know how it started. I mean, so Brian and I, he was military when we first got married, and we lived overseas. And I think part of it started because that's how we had to watch television. These were all foreign shows, and we had to turn on the captions, and it just sort of went from there. But I don't know. There's good. I mean, they're good shows. Spain puts out good stuff. Germany puts out good stuff. Turkey occasionally puts out good stuff. Theirs is a little bit more melodramatic, but yeah. And then once you start one or two shows, like your algorithm just brings you more. And
So
then
when
you're
you
like,
wanna-
oh, that looks interesting.
When you sit down and relax, that's just what pops on.
Yes.
now.
I mean, the problem is if I can't do it if I'm too tired, because then I fall asleep, because you have to focus and read. And if you're tired and you start to fall asleep, then you end up like rewatching things over and over again, because you have to actively watch.
See, this is why my wife and I can't do it, because I'll sit there and actively watch, but she is typically two screening it. Right? She's got her phone.
You cannot do that. Yeah. So I do it when I totally want to just escape. Put the phone down, just sit and relax. It's a good way to actively watch something and not be distracted, because if you get distracted, you have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And so it sounds like you are solidly team subtitles and anti-team dubbed.
Oh, God, no, not a dub show.
Okay.
Dubs are the worst.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some shows, it will start dubbed, and you have to turn that off and turn on the subtitles. I want it in the original language because the dubbed has terrible acting, terrible dialogue. It's awful. Yeah.
That's the only way that I can.
Very strong opinions.
That's
about this.
the only way that I can typically get Holly to watch some of these like international shows, and I'm like, I can't. I can't do that.
I mean, there's some good ones. Like right now on Netflix, Unbelievable. It's good German. I mean, it's good. It's great. It's like espionage, mystery. It's fantastic. So if you run out of things to watch on Netflix, go to subtitle. Great selection.
There you go. So the way this typically works is we do this as a little introduction, and then the podcast really started because for a couple of reasons. One is we were coming out of the pandemic, and people had kind of forgotten how to talk to each other. 2, we wanted people to get to know their neighbors. And 3, Darren was new to the city and had no friends, and so we were trying to get him friends. I don't think that last part, I don't know that any of it was worked. Particularly not the last part, because I don't think Darren still has any friends. But
people like him at least.
They like him.
He seems like a very likable guy.
He's a likable guy. Those who listen to the podcast know that. And
I like to make my judgments in person. Thank you very much.
So you mentioned your husband's in the military. You didn't grow up here.
No.
Give us the Allison Russo origin story.
Oh, geez. So I am not a native Ohioan either. So I tell people, if you hear a little bit of a Southern accent, that is not imagined. I'm not from Southern Ohio. I'm not from Kentucky. Just keep on driving further south. Grew up in Mississippi in a rural community, a small town. And, for people who grew up in a small town, they will appreciate this. My graduating class was 35 people, and
goodness.
K through 12 was in the same building.
Wow.
And I actually had to drive to town to get to school. So still to this day, I will say things like, oh, I'm going to town to do whatever. And my husband, who did not grow up in a small town, will look at me and say, we're already in town. You don't have to drive to town. But it's it's an old habit, dies hard.
That's interesting. I didn't know you grew up in Mississippi.
Yeah. And then went to college there, went to a women's college, and met my husband the week after graduation. He was at Columbus Air Force Base. This is actually the second Columbus that we've lived in. Columbus Air Force Base. He had started pilot training there. And was on a medical hold because he had an issue with his eyes. And, lucky him, he got a wife out of the deal when things went a little bit awry with his plans to fly planes. And, so we spent the first several years moving around as a military family. And we were stationed overseas, which was a ton of fun. We had no children, and so we had a lot of expendable income and could travel.
Where was the most fun place that you got to live?
Well, so we lived in Germany for 3 years in the early 2000s. And Germany is great because it is so accessible to the rest of Western Europe. And it's an easy flight to nearly anywhere, not the United States. Except maybe Asia. It's a little bit further for that. But we went everywhere and just had a ton of fun. It was a great experience to sort of start our early 20s and before kids. And and then we came back to the U.S. He was had a couple of he was stationed at Dover Air Force Base and at Andrews Air Force Base. We were in the Washington, D.C. area for a while for both of our jobs once he got out, and my work as well. And then decided to move to Ohio. He had some family here, and we wanted to get out of D.C., and he also made a mid-career decision to go back to law school, so he was going to Ohio State Law School, and we immediately knew that we wanted to live in Upper Arlington. I Googled, and I was like, what is close to downtown and has good schools? That was my criteria. And immediately narrowed in on Upper Arlington, and we came here, and we were like, yeah, this is it. This is great.
And you've been here ever since?
Yeah, visited a couple of the elementary schools because our two oldest boys at the time, they were starting elementary school, and knew immediately it was such a great environment toward Barrington Elementary School. Fortunately found a house. That was the biggest hurdle, was finding a house here, and stayed. And then our daughter Lainey was born here.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
State representative is not your full-time gig.
It is not my full-time gig. Although if you're doing it well, it is your full-time gig.
Yeah.
But
So what is your kind of professional background?
yeah, so a lot of people don't realize I do actually still have a whole career outside of this crazy world of politics. So I have worked for the last, I have to count, it's almost been 30 years at this point, working in public health policy. So I do a lot of work in the federal healthcare space, working on veterans healthcare issues, working on Medicare and Medicaid issues, working on military healthcare issues. I still do a lot of work with that client as well. And yeah, still do it. In fact, I'll go put in a few hours today.
So how did you end up in that space? I mean, what drew you to?
Yeah, so in college, my undergrad degree, a lot of people are surprised about this too. I have an undergrad degree in microbiology, which is about the nerdiest thing possible. And I think, I thought I probably would go into medicine in some way. But ended up actually getting into a public health program down at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and have a master's degree in public health in epidemiology, which is like next up for nerdiness. And got married, was a military spouse. We were moving around a lot, but had an opportunity, when we were stationed in Germany, started working for the TRICARE program, which is the military's health insurance program, and was working on issues related to, how do our military service members and family members who are stationed overseas access healthcare from host nations. And so started working on a lot of policy issues, cost issues, quality issues, and really loved the policy aspect of it, and then got accepted into a doctoral program at George Washington University that I started when we moved back to the States, and earned a doctoral degree in health policy. So that's how I got into that work, and then worked for a number of federal agencies and companies to do consulting work, and the rest is history.
Wow. Well, as a fellow mom, I have to ask.
Yeah.
I'm a fellow mom that has a full-time job, and there's a lot to balance. How do you do that and be a state rep on top of all that? There's not enough hours in the day.
There are not enough hours in the day. I wish that I could say I'm great at all things all the time, but I'm very fortunate that I have an incredibly supportive spouse. I have kids who, are fairly cooperative most days. Have really great friends who've stepped up, in a multitude of ways, carpooling. Sometimes they feed my children, it depends on the moment. I don't know. We make it work. It's when you're in it, you're just making it work. When you come out of it or you look back on it, you think, how the heck did we do that?
Yeah. Listening to it, I'm like, how the heck did we do
how do we do it? I mean, now the boys are older. I've got one in college now, one who is a high schooler. He can drive. My daughter is 9, so she's 3rd grade. But, she basically can run the house because she's just that personality.
Yeah.
We work. We just remain flexible. And, some days we make it work better than others. And, some days I wish we could have a do-over. But, such is life.
Yeah.
I remember one of the funniest, cutest, and creepiest things ever in my time here at the city of UA involved your daughter. And it was it must have been 2021. She was at Burbank, and we were doing a tree planting thing for Arbor Day. And Allison's daughter's pretty easy to pick out because it's like Allison with a different color hair, right? And so all these cute kids are there for we're going to plant some trees, and our parks people are in there. And we're in the woods.
I was like, what story is this?
We're in the woods.
I now know this.
And so they got the tree in the ground, and somebody says, okay, now he's going to bury the tree. And all these little kids start chanting, bury it, bury it. And oh my God, it was so cute. But at the same time, it was like the creepiest thing ever. And I was like,
oh, yes, you did tell me that story afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought about trying to find the video because I remember it
Oh,
was so
you
fun.
videoed it?
I videoed it. I've got to go back and see if I can find it
that's
on my phone. I
hysterical.
thought about seeing if we could play it for this today. I'll see if I can find it and see if producer Maggie can insert it at some point. But
yes, Burbank, wonderful, wonderful school program. We love that school. But yes, that sounds very creepy.
yes. So how is it having one? How are you dealing with having one out of the house?
It was really weird at first. First semester was definitely harder. Second semester, it's like, oh, wow, this is going by quickly. I think we're more used to it now. And I think we've talked about this before because my oldest is a boy. He does not communicate a lot via text. He does FaceTime us and call us, after some begging. But, in the beginning, I described it as like, the girlfriend that is being dumped and she doesn't know it yet, So you're like texting him. You're finding like these very indirect ways to text him about, anything random. I try not to bombard him with text, but I'll feed him a little bit of information and feel like, oh, please text me back. Text me back. Just like it. Text me back.
Just like
it. And sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. We'll go days. Last night I told him I thought I was being gaslit because ghosted. Let me use the right term. Ghosted. I was being ghosted because for 3 days I've heard nothing.
So
I know he's still alive, but I heard nothing from him.
Do you do I'm going to send him what I think is a funny Instagram reel and see if he responds?
Yes, or a meme. He doesn't think any of it is funny. Occasionally.
Okay. So do you guys have pets?
Occasionally. Yes.
Dogs or cats?
Dog. Yes, I should start sending dog pictures. Mm-hmm. Actually, my daughter, she texts him. He's more responsive to my daughter, which is really sweet. Yeah. But she will send him dog pictures a lot. So maybe that's the trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the pets.
I need to change my tactics.
They miss the pets more than they miss you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're right. I should change my tactic.
Yeah. That's the
sage
Steve advice for
it sounds like you have experience with this.
Yes. It's because I got 2 boys that are a couple years ahead of yours.
Yeah.
And it's like
money is also
that was the other
a great motivator.
Yeah. That's.
Hey, do you need some extra money this week?
They respond immediately.
Okay? That's right.
Or hey, your balance is 0. Mm-hmm. Call me.
Right. Yeah, I usually don't have to alert him to that. He quickly, and he is smart enough to go between parents for this as well.
Oh yeah.
So he doesn't hit me up all the time. He'll hit Dad up first and me. He alternates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
His success rate is much higher because he does that.
Okay, who's his success rate higher with?
Probably me for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it's his grandmother.
Oh.
Yeah. He goes to that well quite a bit as well.
Smart. He's a smart kid.
He's a very smart kid. He's going to be very successful.
Yeah.
That's funny. So as you think about kind of raising your kids here and comparing their experience to what you grew up with, what's the thing that you wish they had growing up that you experienced kind of growing up in that? I mean, and UA does have that sense of community in terms of that small town feel, but like growing up in a small town, rural environment, what is that thing that you wish your kids
first of all,
had?
I lived in a rural environment, so I lived close to nothing. I mean, I literally lived on a gravel road, so there was no biking to the pool or biking to the store. So they have far more, I think, of a probably close-knit small town experience than I did. I mean, I love UA. We lack some diversity here and economic diversity. I had exposure to far more of that where I grew up. And so, we're always acutely aware of that. And, instilling in our kids that we're very fortunate to live in this community. We're surrounded by a lot of people who have a lot of privilege. And, we also have a responsibility to do good things with that privilege.
Yeah, cool. So we typically ask 2 questions at the end of every podcast, and you just hit on kind of one of them, but they are, what do you love about UA, and what would you change?
Okay. So what I love about UA is the sense of community. And I think, what we see over and over in this community is when people, go through tragic experiences and illness, or, great celebrations, this community really just knows how to wrap its arms around each other. And I think especially in the environment that we're in at the moment, it is a very comforting thing to know that, I can come home every night to a community like this, and my children have this community. And it certainly is not perfect, but I have seen this community rise and really show community in a number of ways over the years, and it makes me really proud to be from here.
Okay. You brought up something that I forgot to ask about that I do want to ask about. So, we talked about ground rules on this with elected officials, is we don't talk policy, but I do want to ask you, kind of as you look at kind of this moment in terms of running for office and the challenges for running for office with the polarization, the strident tone, the hate that's just out there sometimes. How do you make sense of that? How do you kind of how do you recharge in being a public servant in this environment? And, kind of what is it that you draw that energy from?
Yeah.
As you're out kind of thinking about how to serve?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's number one, turn off the television, get offline. And, show up at your local restaurant, show up at your community center, show up at your kids' high school sporting game or whatever. That is a real dose of reality. And I am so thankful that I have both a family and a friend network and a community network around me, that I am able to have those very important touch points. Because it is a reminder at the end of the day that, a lot of the quote unquote outrage that we see all over the place, when you actually interact with people face to face and have conversations and remember what's important to all of us, that is very, very grounding for me. And, there is nothing that I love more than turning everything off on a Friday or a Saturday and going to watch my kids play hockey, going to watch going to a lacrosse game, whatever it may be, going to, the high school theater performance, just to have that reminder that we are all, at the end of the day, I think we all want many of the same things, and we really do care about each other, and that's important to keep in perspective.
It's interesting you talk about, so we're recording this in the Bob Crane Community Center, and it's been interesting for me as now an empty nester and not having kids in the schools anymore, kind of that you lose a lot of that connection with community. And, this opened up about, basically a year after Nate finished high school. And it's interesting for me, the degree to which just simply walking into this place and seeing the activity and seeing the different generations that are here kind of reminds you, and I think you use the term grounding, right? It's kind of grounding. And even I will admit it is, even when I come in to get a workout in, inevitably it means working in some way. Like there's something that I'm going to see or someone that I'm going to see.
That's part of this job and this work in public service. Yes.
Yeah. And even when people are mad about this week, it's parking, still seeing the fact that people care enough about the community and care enough about having a place where they can come together that they're mad about the parking, right? If people weren't mad about I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. I'm trying to make sense of it.
No, I'm stuck on this. People are mad about parking because I know what I would say to you right now.
Well, and the issue, this is just like when people are mad about, at some level, if people are mad about parking or traffic, that is better than the problem where you don't have any people who are coming somewhere, so they're not mad about parking or traffic.
That's a good way to look at it. I would like to know when I can turn left off of Lane onto Northwest Boulevard again. That was a surprise to me yesterday, by the way.
So this is related to the Columbia Gas project, and
it is a rolling project.
It is like growing every day.
It's going to go. It's going from Lane Avenue and 33. Making a left turn on Northwest Boulevard, and it's heading all the way up to Bethel Road.
Yes.
And it's Columbia Gas. It's Columbia Gas. It is not the city.
I may have to disregard that left-hand turn sign. There is one lane you can turn into.
Okay, we need to delay this podcast until after they are done. So
the good news is it is moving quickly.
Yes.
And so any impacts you see after a couple of weeks, that's going to change again.
Yes,
There's probably going to be a new impact.
And I appreciate that we have well-maintained gas lines. That is very, very important.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's not fun to live through this right now. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
It's
I
a mess.
I
It's a
even
mess.
got caught in it the other day, and I should know better because I see the maps each week.
Right.
So, and I live at Northam and Chester. So unless you are living on Northwest or Lane Avenue itself, I think I might have it about as bad as anybody because I'm like right there where, it's going down Ridgeview and Brandon. And then, so I look out my back window and it's there. And then, by the way, out my bedroom window is where a house has been torn down, is being built right now. So I'm like living,
You're surrounded.
I am living all of the complaints that I get from residents about construction right now.
Yeah.
That's why we assigned you special duties as assigned to be the construction inspector.
I am the construction inspector. So typically the engineering staff is getting an email from me at about, it's either 8 o'clock or 8:15, depending on how it goes, getting in the morning with an update on what I've seen on the way in the morning.
Yeah.
So we are doing our best. So for instance, the potholes along Northwest Boulevard.
By Monday morning.
Let's not be that state up north.
Yeah. By Monday morning, those should be gone.
Yeah.
We sometimes refer to that as naturally occurring traffic calming, but I think it's gotten a little bit heavy. So yes, Columbia Gas is going to be working today. Today's a Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
I'm sure I will hear from their lobbyist after they hear this podcast. I'm positive.
We are super happy they're
also,
here
by the
making
way,
it all
a
safe.
UA resident.
Yes. We're super happy that they're here, improving the transmission lines, making everything safe. Nobody likes to live through construction.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's doing it.
And I will give credit to anybody who drives past it. Their crews are working hard.
Oh,
they're working
yeah,
6 days a week.
Of course.
And they're doing all the stuff right. It's just a really, really tough project.
Yeah.
They're trying to wrap it up as fast as they can so that come 4th of July celebration, they can be mostly done, clean everything up.
Yes.
And then we can start our road projects.
Fun.
Yay.
Yes, being done by 4th of July is critical.
Especially this year with the Senior Open at the Sciona.
Oh, that's right.
It's going to be a big year.
It's going to be a big year.
So that is actually not the thing I would change about UA.
So what would you change about it?
Our partial sidewalks.
Fill those gaps.
Well, the first,
yes,
let us
sidewalks
just note that she said this week.
We
This
are
week
the land of
that you
partial
didn't say
sidewalks.
you didn't say city manager. That's always a good thing.
Okay. Yes. Not
you
city
could have said
manager,
you
but-
actually could have said city attorney this week, but
He's not here to defend himself.
he's not here to defend himself.
Yes, I would add more sidewalks. Disclaimer, I live on a street that has, I live on a street in a block that has no sidewalks, because
But the other blocks do.
Some of the other blocks do on my street. My street does not. And yes, I know I could petition my neighbors to do this. I do enough. I make enough enemies.
I mean,
I'm not taking this on.
You've had to gather signatures once or twice
and
before.
I've told my neighbors I am not going to be the one that gathers petitions for this one. Someone else will have to take the lead on this. But one day, probably when my children are no longer walking to school, because I have one left who's walking to school, maybe one day we'll get a sidewalk on Tewksbury Road.
There you go. Well, in the master plan, we have a whole subcommittee addressing mobility. So I would imagine the sidewalk is going to be a big component of that.
Good.
And will push us to add even more sidewalk connection projects in the next.
And I have a few notes on some sidewalks that could be repaired as well.
You should.
I
provide
should.
us your
Actually,
notes.
I'm going to, because every time I walk through the puddle going on the way to Barrington in this one particular spot, I'm like, I should email the city about this.
Yes, I always tell the community it's so nice to have more eyes out there because we can't be everywhere.
Yeah. This would be a good one to fix.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you after this.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for coming in. Thanks for your time. Thanks for
Thank
serving
you.
the community.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll get one more listener for at least one podcast.
I will listen to this episode, and I'll go back and listen to another.
You'll
a
probably be
few
dedicated.
episodes.
You won't be able to turn it
The-
off.
I know.
Once you
I know,
listen,
I know.
I'll have to.
So, what is your list? I mean, what do you track? How many listeners?
I don't think he wants to talk
That
about
is that is protected information. If you look under the Ohio records, under the Ohio public records laws, there actually is an exemption written in. You don't remember passing that for us?
I don't remember
we
that.
Asked you,
No,
we asked you.
Is that attorney-client privilege?
Yes, actually it is, because Darren's
Darren's not
involved. This one won't be because Darren's not
you're
here.
exempted.
Yeah.
You're exempted.
No.
from
We
attorney-client
actually
privilege.
one of those capital budget things we helped you get. We actually slid into there
That's
a
right.
little
Yeah,
provision.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just didn't see that. So, no, we get probably 150.
Is this a sensitive topic?
No, well, we joke. So we joke. One of the running jokes is that it's like 10 people. One of them's Holly, and one of them's Darren's dad.
Okay.
And Holly actually is a periodic listener. She admits to me every once in a while, like, "Hey, didn't you hear me talk about that on the podcast?" She's like,
Haven't listened to
"I
that
must have
one yet.
missed that one." I'm like,
Well,
"Okay."
hi, Holly.
Yeah. See, now I got to tell her she's got a shout out.
She got a
She
shout
got
out.
a
She
shout
has
out.
to
So there we
listen.
go. All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you
Oh,
very
thank
much.
you. This
and
was
thank
fun.
you for serving the community and all that fun stuff.
All right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks. All right. You know the drill. You've listened to a couple of these, right?
No.
You've never listened?
This is all going to be a surprise for me.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just
I
going to.
promise I'll listen to this one.